while I get the captions for the bottom of the screen started, and while I just wait for the text notification to go out to the text notification squad. So welcome in, everybody. I'm also going to get the apples loaded, and I'm also going to get ready to open up the phone lines because, as you see from the title of today's video, is we've all lost so much due to the pandemic, right? And I know that this title is not going to be popular for the algorithm on YouTube because, there's a lot, I don't want to get into the subject until the text goes out to the text notification squad. So I'm going to give you all a few moments to come on in while I get these things set up. And if there's anybody who is like, oh, Tanya, why don't, because you're seeing it after the fact, why don't you get into the topic? That's not how we do things around here. Around here, we create content together, right? So I broadcast live so that you all can be a part of the show as well. That's why I put there's a text to the text notification squad. That's why I put your comments up at the bottom, because you all are part of the show. We are live. And there are benefits to going live, and there are benefits to recording and having everything all polished up, right? So welcome in, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for getting here on time. I wanted to have this conversation yesterday. Yesterday, every time I started thinking about this, it sent me into a puddle of tears, right? And so I wanted to make this video just acknowledging you all right here, because a lot of us content creators aren't really talking about what's going on. We've kind of just put our heads down. We've kind of just been creating content and just going along with the topics and following the stories and doing the research and entertaining people, right? But you all know that recently, I came under the weather. I had a head cold, and I had to take some time out to just really kind of slow down. And for those of you who are not on the text notification squad, then you don't know, because I'm a content creator through and through. I create content because I love creating content. And so we still had broadcasts, just they weren't the broadcast, they weren't the public broadcast that you all were seeing. Me and the text notification squad, we still came together. So if you're a part of the text notification squad, go ahead and throw up your 1010s. We've had to switch the numbers up because people were getting hip and they wanna jump in. But 1010, come on, put your 1010s up, right? And you know what? Sorry, I have my microphone is all the way down. Thank you for that. Because in the past few days when I've just been designing and getting these boxes together and all of that, I put my microphone down so I could see the whole screen. Is there an echo? There should not be an echo, but it may have sounded far away because, hey, we got Denise in the house. Welcome in, Nettie, Zahayas, and Tabisang, Hazel. Welcome in, welcome. And behind the scenes, I've gotten to know some of you all pretty well. So I appreciate you all coming out. I appreciate you being a part of the text notification squad. If you're not a part of the text notification squad, go ahead and join. It's $1.99 a month or $22 for the year. And we do broadcast off platform. You know what we're going to do this year? I want to try to figure out a way to do like a Secret Santa, because, we're going to have a holiday party this year. Somebody say my voice sounds different. It shouldn't sound different. It should be the same knockout voice that it has always been. Denise needs a viral topic. Before we start talking about any type of viral topic, I feel like it's most honoring to people to acknowledge what it is that we have lived through over the past year and a half. When we were broadcasting behind the scenes, right? When we were broadcasting behind the scenes and I was talking to the knockouts who are on the text notification squad, I realized that it's not just me who has been going through stuff behind the scenes. It's all of us. I was talking to people who had overcome lung cancer and people whose children are not well and had to have surgeries and all of these other things. And I realized that we have gone through so much. For those of us who don't know someone close to us who has passed away from or during the pandemic, or from, words that we can't say in our videos, right? We know somebody whose close family member we're talking about, we've lost what, 1% of our population here in the United States? Or did we lose 0.1%, right? I need you all to tell me how much we've lost, right? Because each of us has been affected by this in many different ways. And if you didn't lose somebody, you lost time. You lost the ability to feel comfortable and safe going outside. You've lost the ability to travel. You lost 2 years of your life. If you're a woman, that's 2 fertile years, especially if you're over 30. You lost 2 prime, plump, fertile years during this pandemic. Well, some of you took advantage of it and came out with your little pandemic babies, but that's a different story. For other people, you lost 2 years of not going to the doctor and getting checkups, or your parents not going to the doctors and getting checkups, and people having health issues as a result of these lack of checkups. As a woman, you have to get your annual smears and scans and all of this other stuff to be able to catch things early. And if you had not, there could be devastating effects, ripple effects that have taken place as a result of that. Not only that, we have people who became ill and the hospitals were too overcrowded or too overrun, or whatever the case may be, or you didn't feel comfortable going in, or they were only taking certain type of cases or whatnot, or some people who caught COVID and who are living with the ramifications of that, including shortened lifespan, who, when they die, their death will not be counted as a COVID death because they are going to die from the complications as a result of living with the aftermath of COVID, like people who have damaged kidneys or blood clots or any number of things. So, oh, thank you, Lelam. Our children have suffered. Our children who are school age, who are now behind, and you having to scramble to try to get them caught up to the standard level that they need to be at. The kids who have lost their esteem from having to deal with this distance learning and thinking that there's something wrong with their brain or how they process information, or feeling slow or whatnot. And then our children who are young adults have suffered from this isolation and not being able to be out with their friends and coming of age. And coming of age, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. This part right here just really gets me. Because I remember, I'm sorry. I remember what it was like my freshman year away at college, and learning myself and who I am, and taking all of the lessons from my parents and utilizing them in the real world. And I remember the friendships that we forged freshman year, some of whom I still have to this day. And I remember branching out on my own and making my way in this world and discovering who I want to be. And so when I think of our young people who are coming of age in this time of COVID, it just, it rips my heart because they're not able to date and they're not able to go out and find themselves. And so they too, we think about the adults and we think about the young kids, but we don't think about our young adults who are coming of age in a time where they don't have the ability to really navigate and find themselves. So their development is arrested in these times of COVID. And it breaks my heart because it's like we have young people who are suffering in ways that is incalculable. And we have all lost so much. And I thought that before we jumped into making more videos and creating more content, that I would acknowledge that I understand, that I hear you, and that I recognize that we have gone through a lot over these past 2 years, that we have suffered in different ways, or each of us in one way or another, that we're grieving the world that we once knew and navigating into this new world that where people are stampeding to get into concerts because they've been so pent up and deprived from contact. And so yes, I understand that there are viral topics that we need to discuss, but I felt that I would be remiss if I didn't come out and from one human being to another acknowledge that I understand that you have lost. And it is okay to grieve and understand that you are in one of the 5 stages of loss right now, one of the 5 stages of grief, where there's denial, anger, acceptance. What are the other 2? Bargaining. And what is the last one that I'm gonna have to look it up, right? K Love is talking about the number of funerals that they attended. And so this is what I'm saying. And though we march on and we put on a brave face, we're going through some things right now. And I think the true full impact of it won't be really truly felt until afterwards when we look back and we see what it is that we were able to do and how it is that we were able to cope during these times. Is it depression? Is it let me because disbelief is yes, one of them, which is the denial. I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up right now, don't worry, because we learned this in hypnotherapy school, and we went over and over and over. Let's see, 5 stages of grief. Here we go. 5 stages of grief. Denial and isolation, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. So depression was one of the ones that I forgot. Okay. I see that we got some people in here. Okay. Listen. All right. Okay. So listen. So it's okay. I'm gonna turn on the phone lines, and I'm gonna give you the opportunity to call in. And there's really no topic right now. I realized when I was doing my behind the scenes videos that we are going through a lot, and I wanted to acknowledge that. So let me get the phone number up. There it is, 323-488-3149. And let me get the setting up with here we go. All right, so the phone lines are open. 323-488-3149, and you can call up, you can talk about anything. We are live right now, talking about something related to the loss that you've experienced, that you're not experiencing. If you're not, then by all means. So 323-488-3149, and the phone lines are open. We're getting our first call in. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, this is Kiki.
Hey, Kiki. Do you love me?
Um,
Okay, I'm
yes,
sorry.
I do.
So talk to us.
This has been the worst couple of years, and I know people have lost a lot of people due to the pandemic. Loss wise. I lost my father in August. He
Mm.
died in his sleep of COVID.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I my cousin committed suicide 3 weeks ago. Yeah, he
Wow.
was a father. He committed suicide, and then I had my nephew who was 17 who was murdered. Uh, like 3 weeks ago, he was murdered. In
Wow.
Detroit. Yeah, he was shot out in these streets. Another victim to gang violence in Detroit.
My
So
goodness.
it's been a hard and been shocking for all of us. Like, I mean, it's just these past 4 months have been terrible.
Mm.
That's been hard enough. The thing that I think another thing I was saying that a lot of people don't talk about is besides, us losing our family members and passing away, I've lost friends that
Mm.
people that I thought I really knew, not to the fact that they've passed away, but people have said things and done things that have shocked me during the
What?
pandemic that I had to cut off.
What do you
Like
mean?
when
No.
my dad died, I had
Mm-hmm.
people tell me my dad didn't die of COVID. COVID don't exist. While I'm putting my father in the grave. I had people who I've been knowing for years tell me this, that I didn't know what my father died of. and
Mm.
people and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like just stuff like that, like things that people have said and done that I would be like, okay, what? Or things that they've thought, like there's views and things that I never even knew. But when the pandemic hit, it's
Yeah.
like people would post things on social media how they really felt about certain things and things about race, things
Really?
about all kinds of things. Yes, that I never even knew how they really felt, especially when George Floyd hit too. There are people my kids went to school with and my kids were friends with. Their kids, I had to cut these people off. I'm like the
You're talking
pandemic has
about
exposed
non-black people, or you're saying black people were saying things about race?
it was I live in a predominantly Caucasian community. I live in a white neighborhood. I live in Texas, especially in Texas. Y'all, if y'all read the news, it's on and popping here in Texas. So there are people, parents that I've been Facebook friends with. I've been to their kids' birthday parties. They've been to my kids' birthday parties. And it's the things that have been posted on social media by people was just shocking. And not just white people, but black people as well. Even when y'all talk about like Kevin Samuels and stuff like that, I had, black male friends, scout leaders that were black males that have posted things about black women that I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, this is how you feel about black women? I have had to cut off at least 10 to 15 people because the
Okay, so
pandemic
hold
has
on. Let's
exposed
let's get
everybody.
let's get some examples. So you said you live in a mainly Caucasian area, and
I
you
do.
you read something that you were like, "Wow, I can't believe." What was it that you read that made you have to cut
It
this person off?
Yes, it was things about like George Floyd deserved it, and it
Mm.
wasn't that big a deal. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I mean, these people had posted things, and I had sent them private messages like, "Whoa, what do you mean?" Or people making jokes about police brutality and
What
jokes
type
and
of
stuff like that, and,
jokes?
and just jokes about like I don't know if y'all heard about. Oh well, there's a saying out there, "Didn't do nothing," that's really racist. That has a racist connotation
Right.
to it.
Right.
Yes, like I've seen people post that, and if anybody who know me, these people know me. Like I used to be an activist, and I'm like, you're posting this, and then they weren't really worried about my opinion or the fact that they hung out with my kids. And I had to learn a hard lesson of how to vet people more carefully, how to vet. Like I said, I had black male friends who have come out and said things about skin tone and skin color.
Like
And
what?
matter of fact, one of my cousins went on an Instagram rant about how light-skinned and white black women were better and dark-skinned black women were baboons. This is stuff that was said by one of my cousins. I had to cut him off. So, I was like in shock. I was like, your mother is a black woman. I'm a black woman. I'm a successful black woman. I'm not, he complained about ratchet women. I was like, well, maybe that's the women you're choosing. He's just like, I don't like black women. I don't like dark skin. I don't like their features. I'm like, okay. I told my cousin, well, I don't like you.
Oh my. Okay. And
Yeah.
then
So
and
to
then you
me,
said that there were black people who said you said there were three things. The white people who said things about race, black people who said things about race, and then black men who said things about black women. So what were the black people who said things about race?
I just like living in a neighborhood with the black people that live in our socioeconomics because, I mean, I came originally from nothing. I'm from Detroit. I'm from the hood. But there are some people that I've known that are, born and raised in the suburbs. And just the things that they've said about other black people being lazy, other black people, because people on unemployment and getting stimulus checks. And they were like, well, these black people, these Negroes don't want to work. And I'm like, because, a lot of people have been quitting their jobs and stuff. So I've read stuff like that as well. And I'm like, huh?
Got you.
Yeah. And I was just so disheartened by all of
So
that.
why do you think the pandemic brought this out of people?
I guess because a lot of people were working from home. A lot of people were sitting at home. People had a lot of time on their hands. Some people got laid off. So I guess they just feel like social media is like, I don't know, a catharsis. It's just a way for them to let it rip. And so I told people that, losing my family members through, them passing away is bad enough. But it just shocked me. Like the things I've heard that it really made me, back off away from people a lot more than what I was. People that are just like, oh, no, they can't think that. And they do think that.
Yeah, I got you. Well, you know what, Kiki, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I'm stunned as well. And I don't know what it is about the pandemic that would bring that out of people. This is embarrassing and sad.
It is. It's eye opening and it's sad, but I'm like, okay, I know better. So I'm going to do better. And maybe I need to pick better people to be around, or I got to be by myself. I'll work on me, take care of my babies, and just leave people with their own ignorance and not try to
What are you
up.
doing to kind of keep yourself emotionally healthy with all of the loss that you're experiencing?
I really had to, I try to spend time and try to talk to my kids. Like my kids, they didn't know their grandfather. We were planning to visit Christmas this year, and then of course he passed away, so I had to explain that to them. And then, I have my immediate family, like my mom and brothers and sisters. And then also I do art. I'm an artist. So to me, I love to paint. I do digital art. That keeps me sane. I vent my frustrations in my work, and that gives me some kind of outlet.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? If that is what working for you, continue on. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. All right. The phone lines are open. I'm stunned. I'm stunned. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hi, Tanya. This is Vanessa.
Hi, Vanessa. How are you? Vanessa from the Text Notification Squad?
Yes, Vanessa from the Text Notification
Hey, how are you, Vanessa? How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've been having some setbacks. So, what you're talking about is really hitting me hard because I thought I was getting past things, but not so much.
What do you mean?
I told you my mom died in February of 2020. My best friend that I've ever had in my entire 59 years of life died in August 2020. Then my son passed away in October.
Mm.
And I'm thinking I'm going through these steps, and I just really start figuring out that I'm doing more bargaining with the fact of, I wish it was me. I wish he could come back, or I wish she could come back. And people don't understand when you're going through stuff that it just needs to be some silence sometimes. But they'll keep, just like the lady that just got off. And my condolences to her, because hers is so fresh. But time heals all wounds. But the thing of it is sometimes time can't heal wounds. They can't. And a lot of people don't understand that. Everybody didn't die from the pandemic. Some people just die because of things that just happened. But because it was enthralled in the COVID situation or the pandemic, then we all have to take a moment to just ask someone, do you need somebody to listen to you talk, or do you need me to help you with something? But people don't do that any longer, because like that concert, the way they described it, people really are becoming more and more inhuman. And it scares me, because that means that I'll never be able to pull myself out of my circumstances, because I can't connect with people who have the compassion in their heart as I do, because I'm helping people and I need help. So my cup is empty.
Well, you know what? First of all, thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. We applaud you for the courage that it has taken to call in. So thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thank you. In terms of time not healing all wounds, time heals all wounds, all of them. And when it comes to, you saying that you're doing more bargaining, when it comes to the 5 stages of grief, you can volley back and forth between several stages, and you can go back up to some stage that you visited. And then when you think that you've gotten to the final stage, you can volley back again. So, give yourself time and permission to go through the stages, to allow yourself the grace, the forgiveness to go through the stages. And I know that things can seem grim, but you have to remember the news reports certain types of stories. But we do have compassion out there. We have compassion, we have love, we have open arms. And we're going to have a day where we come together, and we're going to network behind the scenes, and we're going to provide space for each other. So I think I'm going to call it like an emotional spa day or something like that. But we will have one of those days, because there are people out there who have a shoulder for you to listen to, and vice versa, So, we just have to find those people. I remember I was talking with somebody about how music in the 80s and 90s was so good, right? But then I have to remember that when you have an entire decade of 10 years, that only the hot songs travel out amongst the other ones. But there were trash songs in the 80s, but we don't remember those trash songs because it's the hits, that float out above the rest. So please do remember that when it comes to multitudes of people in any time or generation, that there are going to be just some unbecoming behavior out there, but it's the hits that float out above the fray. Okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Tanya. You always make me feel just a little bit better, which is all I look for, just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. And those little bits build up to make you feel better as a whole. And that's all I really want.
Yeah, well,
So
just
thank you
keep
very
putting one
much.
foot in front of the other. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in. Everybody, send our first caller, Kiki, some love. Send Vanessa some love. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Okay, the phone lines are open, and I want everybody to remember this quote. In the end, everything will be all right. And if it's not all right, then it's not the end. All right, I want you to just remember that quote. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Kelly?
Hey, Kelly, welcome onto the line.
Hello.
Hi, is this the green vegan Kelly or is this a different Kelly?
No, this is Kelly. Kelly Hicks. I'm part of the text notification squad.
Hey, welcome, 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 welcome. So the floor is yours.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about, when this pandemic happened, like for mental illness, I suffer from depression. And at the time the pandemic hit, my father-in-law had just passed away. My father had also just passed away. When the pandemic hit, my stepfather-in-law passed away. My aunt passed away. My uncle passed away. So there was a lot of that going on. But what was really troubling was to see people, telling you that, telling me, well, do you believe in this? Do you believe that? I said, well, say that to people who haven't had the loss. There's so much loss going on and what have you. But to go through this and have to be secluded and be disconnected from anything that would give you comfort, especially if you're suffering from depression or you have anxiety or what have you.
Yeah.
Can be really difficult to find a way to not spiral into that deep dark space that you can get into when you go through that. So it's been troubling. This is something that we're never going to go through again in our lifetime. Something that our parents never went through in their lifetime, more than likely. And hopefully our kids won't go through this again in their lifetime. But it's hard to try and, with mental health, it's difficult to try and deal with, the things that come with this, the loss, and how to stay off the edge in a time and space like this, when because
So what
you have
have you
nothing but time on your hands.
done? What have you done to keep yourself off of the edge?
I like to journal, so I've been writing just a lot. I wish I could do something with that, but I don't know what that is for. But it does help me to write my feelings out, to put pen to pad. That's been very helpful to me. And trying to do self-care. So I'm doing, I find myself doing a couple facials a week, and things like that, or and exercising, and getting out and taking that walk.
Yeah.
So those things are, those things are kind of the things that you need to that are helpful to focus on. Sometimes, like I don't live anywhere near any of my family. So I don't have a lot of family around, and I'm not really, I'm more about quality instead of quantity, so I don't have a lot of friends. And I'm okay with that. But the circle is rather small. And social media, you just get wrapped up into it, and it just really is just such a disconnection from real life.
Yeah. It's so strange that they call it social media and it's so antisocial, right?
Oh, it's hard, terribly antisocial, and it'll beat you down. I had to literally get off Facebook for like a year. And I was not posting anything. I was not going to my feed very often. Maybe every now and again I might take a peek, but I wasn't doing that very often at all. It was, I had to have that time out I don't do Instagram, that kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
I didn't need, for my mental health, I didn't need to see things that would drag me down or put, or, I'm looking at everybody else's thing and I'm like, oh, what was me? I wish that was me. And I don't want to be living in the, in the past, that's in the thoughts of, you know, why not me? Why is this not me? Why
Mm.
is this not happening for me? And
Yeah.
what have you. So it's really difficult, with all of this stuff going on, and it's such a big disconnect. And I don't know how we get back to, because I'm a child of the 70s and 80s and 90s,
Mm.
when times were much better. Because there was no cell phones, no texting, and none of that stuff. So you were forced to communicate with people at that time, and it was a good time.
Mm.
But I don't. That's, of course, we'll never go back to that. And technology is a great thing, and what have you. So, thank goodness for FaceTime and Zoom and all those things, because
Yeah.
I was able to see my family that I'm not close to. You're able to see your family and kind of have those things going on, which are necessary. But
Yeah.
for all of the people who kind of struggled with it, and for all the naysayers, it's just really, I always tell people, be really careful who you're talking to about the COVID and saying it's real or it's not real. Or, I know people who have had COVID 2 or 3 times and still say it's not real. Doesn't make any
Mm.
sense. And I've had to
You're
cut
saying they
friends off.
caught COVID and still said it ain't real?
Yeah, yeah. Still said
Mm.
it was still not true. And in this racial tension in America right now, I've had friends that I have literally had to cut off. I've had friends, that I've had as a child or as a teenager, and you know, the Trump situation came, and of
Mm.
course they show you a whole different side of themselves,
Yeah.
and I was okay with that. With losing, I've even lost family members, and that's okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's a good thing. It's okay to cut people off. People have a season and a time and a place, and just because they're your family doesn't necessarily mean that you should have
Yeah. No,
to,
I feel
you
you.
know,
We've
have
gone
to deal
over
with them.
time. I just want to give you some
Yeah.
some time to just wrap up your call real quick.
Yeah, so that's all. Just, best wishes to everybody, and I know how difficult it is for people, and uh, take good care of yourself first, and, give from the overflow, you know.
Yes.
Let your
Yes.
cup runneth over, and I want to be able to give from my overflow. So that's what we should be
Yes.
doing.
Well, you know what?
That's
Keep
all.
doing what it is that you need to do. Last question for you. Do you have your medication for depression?
I do, and I take several different. We kind of just are kind of bouncing around to kind of see what works for me exactly. But now I'm on probably about 4 or 5 different medications,
Okay.
and that's not necessarily for me a good thing. I would like to not be on any medications at all, but I know that that's not a good, to not take them is not a
Why
good thing
would
for
you
me.
why
I've
would you not
had
want to be on any medications?
um just for the toxins in the body. I think just the medicate. Just yeah, I think it's just the toxins in the body, and but at the same time, I've had suicide attempts on several occasions, and at one point I was a cutter, so I know that those things are
Yeah.
necessary for me.
Yeah, well, you know what?
Um,
From what it is that I hear, all medications have their roots in nature. So I say that it's important for you to find, the right balance that works for you. I give this example about a friend of mine who worked with his doctor to find the right balance of medications for him. And I asked him, how does he feel about, having to be on medication for the rest of his life? And he gave me the example of how some people can dive into the water and hold their breath for 4 minutes, right? but he's not going to
Right.
beat himself up for his body needing an oxygen tank, if you get the reference. So some
That
people's
makes
bodies
sense.
naturally can hold their breath for minutes at a time, and other people's
Right.
bodies can't. And it's okay if you use assistance to assist you in being able to live as other people live without that assistance. So do what it is that you need to do to be on top of your health, okay? And forget what
Absolutely.
other people
Absolutely.
use or don't need, or you do what you need for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Well,
Thank
we
you so
love you.
much, Miss
Thank you so much for
Tanya.
calling in. All right. All right, the phone lines are open. I'm going to take a few more phone calls. Um, I am a proponent of people working with their medical professional to be able to find the right mix for their particular body chemistry. And there's some people who are against medication, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't think that it's responsible for anybody to give any type of blanket medical advice to different people. Allow people to work with their healthcare professional for their unique chemical and genetic makeup so that they can find a solution that works for them without shame. Without shame. So, no shame. We've had enough of that. Let people be able to live their lives. You're on the air live with Tanya. What is your name?
My name is Dee Dee, but you know me as Dara. I think I
Oh,
got a
hey,
couple aliases.
Dara. How are you? Text notification squad is running deep in these phone calls.
Whoop, whoop. But
Welcome.
yeah, I'm fine. As far as the pandemic goes, my grandma passed away March 2020. She actually passed away on my deceased brother's birthday.
Oh,
I
wow.
don't think it was COVID related. She passed away from pancreatic cancer.
Mm,
So that was that whole thing going on. Aside from that, though, the pandemic has actually brought me a lot of peace in some ways. I mean, like, being able to be at home and working from home and things like that.
okay.
Um, I did want to just caution people because I see a lot of conversations going on in the comments, and I definitely understand Black people's mistrust of the medical industry in
Mm-hmm.
general, but I implore people to make discussions with your doctors, have discussions with your doctors, do research, but don't let people tell you that COVID is not real or not to be vaccinated or that, it's supposedly to get rid of us, because if they wanted to kill us off, they could do it way easier than a vaccine anyway. So I don't know why people spread that type of misinformation, but it's really bothersome when you know so many people who have gotten sick and died from COVID, and you still have some people telling others that it's not real. And I just want to implore people to pay attention to the advice and the things that you're telling people, especially people who have lost people during the pandemic because of the virus.
Okay, so
And then I
Dara,
know, like,
let's do this, right? Because one of the things that I don't want to do is I don't want us to give out blanket medical advice to people, right? This is an
right, that's
opportunity
my
for
point.
you, right? So hold on. So hold on. So when you start telling people, about your thoughts about the vaccine or no vaccine or whatever the case may be, we start getting into controversial topics. That's really not the point of the broadcast. There was one lady who called in and said that she removed people from her life because of XYZ, right? If
Hmm.
you want to talk about what's going on in your life and your relationship to a thing, do that. However, I want us to steer clear away from advising other people.
Right. And since I saw a bunch of it in the comments, I just wanted to say to people to talk to their doctors. You know what I'm saying? Make informed decisions. That's all I was saying.
Okay. Well, you know how I feel about people coming to the phone lines to talk to people in the comments, because if you want to talk to people in the comments, the best place to do that is from the comments. If you want to talk to me on the phone, the best place to do that is on the phone.
I understand.
All right. Well, thank you so
But
much for calling. Oh,
But yeah, that's fine. I think there's some people who probably need more. Oh, also, I wanted to say the little exercise you did yesterday, I think it was on Zoom. I didn't realize how much that was needed, so I just wanted to say I appreciated that too.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. But
Are you
yeah, that
getting
was
a delivery as you stand there?
all. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, I'm hungry.
Well, go ahead and do your thing. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Yeah, listen, I'm not here to argue with people about whether or not the pandemic is real or not real, or whether it's a pandemic, or whether or not you should get vaccinated or not vaccinated, or all of that. I'm not here to argue or profess any of that. I'm here to talk with you about the loss that we have all experienced during the pandemic. When it comes to a person with mental health issues and whether or not they work with their doctor to get the right prescribed mix for their chemistry, that is solid advice. Work with your doctor. Only they know one-on-one what's happening with you. You're on the air live with Tanya. What is your name?
Hi, this is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. I need you to just hold on for just one moment. I need to address something in the comments, okay?
Sure.
All right. So there's somebody who is saying the doctors work with the government. I think that you can find many different ways to come into contact with many different doctors who have different relationships with pharmaceutical companies, the government, whomever. You can work with a holistic doctor who can also work with a pharmacologist. However, the most responsible, ethical thing that I can say while speaking to hundreds or thousands of people is to look at your unique situation with a medical professional whom you trust. And in that trusted relationship, find a mix of treatment options that work specifically for you. Period. Okay, thank you so much for holding. You said your name was Rachel?
Yes, I'm one of your text notification people as well.
Oh, wow. Text notification squad is deep in the house tonight. All right, so Rachel, talk to us.
Well, basically, I'm calling to let you know how I dealt with the pandemic. I think it affected my children more than anything.
Okay.
I kind of felt it when you were speaking about the coming of age. I have a 19-year-old going on 20-year-old son who missed a traditional graduation, prom, and he's dealing with depression right now, won't take medication. I can't get him to venture out into the world.
Oh, wow.
Also, my youngest son is also going through it because he fell behind during, online learning. To add insult to injury, my grandmother developed dementia, which I was considered to be her favorite and was very close, so I ran to her rescue. And she was actually in a nursing home. They allowed her to fall because they were short-staffed and did not report it and take her to the hospital. So we had to take her home on hospice, and we had to hold her hand to her last breath. So that's what we went through during the pandemic. So I didn't have really any family members that died from COVID, but they either got it or they're having long haul symptoms and things of that nature. And I even had it. I have lupus, so I'm still experiencing some breathing issues and things of that nature. But I did, on the upside of the pandemic, I took this opportunity to go back to school to do something that I really wanted to do because I was a hairstylist and my illness did not allow me to do it as many hours as I wanted to. And I've always wanted to help disadvantaged youth in my community. So I knew I did the research of what I had to do and found out the degree I needed to take, and I'm almost done, and I started in 2020. I have my bachelor's in January of 2023. So I did get some positives back from that.
All right, Rachel. It's wonderful.
I just want to say my condolences to everybody that lost people from COVID. And I wish everybody the best. And thanks again, Tanya, for everything.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming out and letting us know. Thank you. Okay. The phone lines are open. I'm going to take a few more phone calls and then I'm going to jump out of here. I just wanted to be able to create a platform to hold space for people. You're on Air Live with Tanya. What's your name?
Hey, Tanya, this is Rhea.
Hey, Rhea. How are you? Welcome.
I'm good. It's ran Amazon and I didn't even think I would get through, so I'm a little nervous. Woo-hoo.
Oh,
Let me
don't
sit
be
down.
nervous. Take your time.
Okay. So I put in the comment section that I actually gained a lot during the pandemic. What I mean by that is the year before, I had so much going on. As far as my mother died, I almost lost my career in the military. I was 18 years in because of the depression. I gained weight as a result of it, and then I had soldiers that committed suicide. It was a lot. And so that was right before the pandemic hit. And then after the pandemic, and then my son was going through things. He was a junior in high school, and he was going through a lot. He experienced sort of like a existential crisis, right? So it was a lot. And then when this pandemic hit, it was just, I got sick. I did get sick. As a matter of fact, I got sick with COVID twice, and that first time almost killed me because I did develop this is before they knew there were other things besides respiratory symptoms. This is when I was getting blood clots. As a matter of fact, I have to take blood thinners. They say for the rest of my life now as a result.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. It's okay. Because what it did was slow me down, right? Because I was going to stay a couple of extra years in the military, right? I was going to go to maybe like 23. But what it did was it said, you got to get out, right? And live my life, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm retiring from the military. After 20 years, my son is in his freshman year of college. He did get over that. I had him going to therapy. He did get over what he was feeling. He's enjoying his freshman year. He didn't get into the Ivy that he wanted to as a result of COVID, because I don't know if you know, but like last year for the Ivy League programs, they it was like they picked they pulled all the kids together from 2020 and 2021. So it was like a less of a chance of, acceptance. But he got into a great school.
Okay.
He's doing really well, yeah. And I just feel like, during that time, after I finished getting sick, I got a little part-time gig because we couldn't do any training. So I made a lot of extra money.
Okay.
During that time, and like right now, I did get sick again in the year. Like I got really sick, right? And so my mother passed of cancer, and it was uterine cancer. And then they just, it's okay. And I discovered that I might have it as well. So then I had to get a hysterectomy. This is all like within the last year, but I'm on the other side of everything, and I can just say that overall, I've gained a lot. I didn't lose any friends. The people that are not Black people that have been on my friends list forever, they are people that I actually know, right? And so it confirms some things for me, right?
Okay.
And they were compassionate when all that stuff was going on with the riots, with everything that was going on, because they know me and they know my son. And so when I was expressing myself on social media, they were supportive, right? Not just on social media, but off social media as well. And so it kind of confirmed some things to me. I don't have a lot, but I had enough to know that, okay, these are good people, right?
I'm sorry, you said your name was Rachel, correct?
Ria.
Ria. All right.
Yes.
Ria, it
Yes.
is okay to admit that there are
Uh-huh.
things that we've lost. It's okay to admit that.
Yeah. hmm No, it was deep and painful. I know I sound like I'm like going over it and I'm glossing over it, but what I'm saying is they were very painful times, right? Especially losing my mother, who I was very close to, who I took care of, until actually she died right next to me, right? And we look alike, right? And so there's an added layer of grief to that because you're kind of seeing yourself in 20 years passing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it was a profound loss,
Mm-hmm.
right, for me. But I was able to um, walk out of it, right? Like I was able to breathe, right? Because at first I didn't think I would be able to breathe, but through that, and I was able to lose weight, and then I got hit again. And some of the things that I learned with my mother dying was that I can work my way out of it, right? And that there are things that are going to come that are going to hit you. They're going to hit you hard, right? But in her memory, or in order to honor her memory, um, I have to keep going, right? Because that
Yeah,
life is
listen,
for the
listen,
living.
listen, listen. I understand that. I
Uh
understand that.
huh. Yeah.
Um, the my thing is, right?
Mhm.
I understand, we there's blessings in the stressings or however we want to put it, right? I
Mhm.
understand that. And it's okay to also acknowledge that we have lost. It's okay to feel grief without shame of grief or whatnot, or having to rush through the process, or having to be in a different space than where it is that we are. And so if you are wherever it is that you are, that is fine, wherever it is that you are. Whether you're on the other side of it, whether you volley back and forth between it is okay. Because one of the things that I see in the comments is that people are like, yay, you go, and this, that, and the other. And that's fine.
Mhm.
It's fine to be happy. It's okay. It's also fine to be sad. It's fine to celebrate, and it's fine to acknowledge loss as well. There's no shame in either side of it, either side, however it is. But what I want us to do is I want us to know that it is okay to be wherever it is that we are. And I am getting the sense, just intuitively, that there's more to what it is that you're saying than what it is that you're saying. That there was something that was going on before you decided to make the call. That maybe there were people who were in a space and you were like, well, you know what? Let me call and tell people that, my story, my testimony of where it is that I am and all that it is that I have gained, right? But in the process of you talking about the things that you've gained, you're also describing tremendous loss. And it's okay to acknowledge that loss, period. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I do not want anyone to feel like I am trying to belittle or like speed up the process of grief, right? That is not what I'm saying. Because you do, and I like the word that you say volley, right? Because you do volley between the stages, and that's okay too, right? And whatever place that I'm in, because I really am in a different space than I was when my mother passed, or even a year after she passed, right? It's like it is a volley, right? And that's okay too. It is okay. It's all okay, right? Um, and even with I had to have a surgery, right? So even with the emergency surgery that I had to have, and I can't have children. I didn't want children, but every woman would, I think, would like or I don't want to say every woman, maybe most women would like the ability to know that she can have children. For me, that was a loss, and that was okay, right? And I sat in that grief, and that was okay. And then I was like, I felt like, before you get your cycle, when you're a young girl, you're probably about, like, I was like 11 when I got it, right? So that space, when you're becoming like aware of yourself as a person, like about 9 or 10 or 11, and you're autonomous in this world, and you feel that autonomy, that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Because I don't have to take care of anybody, right? I don't have a job that I have to answer to, and I am not going to have anybody's child, right? So that is a space of vulnerability that I don't have, and I do feel okay, right?
Okay. Well, you know what? I thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly.
Phone lines are open, 323-488-3149. I'm going to take 1 or 2 more phone calls, and then we're going to jump out of here. And you know what? I just wanted to reiterate, wherever it is that you are, there you are, and that is okay. I feel that sometimes we feel like certain emotions are good emotions and other emotions are not so good emotions. So we want to feel the quote unquote good ones and not the ones that are not so good. But all emotions serve a purpose, even anger and sadness. You're on the air live with Tanya. Hold on just one moment. Even envy serves a purpose. There are certain religions that will make you feel a certain way about having feelings of envy, but all of our emotions communicate something to us, all of them. And there's no judgment on any of them. So you're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Elizabeth from the Tech Squad.
Oh my goodness, the text notification squad is deep in the hizzy. Welcome, Elizabeth. Talk to us.
The pandemic was good and bad for me. I suffer from severe depression, so being stuck in a house is not ideal. I have an 18-year-old and a 2-year-old. The 18-year-old went through a lot because he's really into sports and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
But it definitely made us closer because teenagers don't really want to talk to their parents, but he didn't have a choice. And one thing that a lot of people forget or just, don't really understand or haven't taken note of is the fact of the losses that we had where we couldn't say goodbye. I lost 3 aunts, one to COVID, one to cancer, and one to basic old age. All my grandmother's sisters, uncle, and I was unable to attend any of those funerals. They were out of state or out of town. It was the height of the pandemic. I had COVID. I have not been able to smell for 2 years.
What?
And I was the chef of the family.
Wow.
And that was a loss that I love cooking. It was my outlet. So I guess I'm a long hauler.
So are you not able to taste either?
I know something is there. I've been doing smell therapy, and it's helping. I know something is there, but I can't tell you what it is.
Got you.
So they told me I had to put multiple smoke detectors in a room because, one beeping may not wake you up. I can't tell if it's smoke.
Oh, wow.
I eat, but it's really not what it should be at all.
Got you. So you've lost the desire to eat because you can't really taste.
Yeah, I can't really taste, and I actually had to catch myself because I started gaining a bunch of weight, and it was because the chips were crunchy. And so because I couldn't really taste, I went for texture.
Oh.
Yeah. And when my pants stopped fitting, I was like, okay, girl, check yourself. But now I eat vegetables, like raw vegetables, and that gives me that texture now. So,
Oh,
but
so you're crunching on some lettuce and it doesn't
carrots,
matter. Oh, you're crunching on
yeah,
carrots. Okay. Okay. Okay.
and celery, But I did get very close with my kids, and it was nice to be able to be home with, especially my youngest, because the daycares were closed.
Got you.
Um, and
So it
have
was
that
nice to be
opportunity to
home with the
really.
terrible twos during the pandemic. Oh,
Well, he was one then. I mean, I ain't gonna say he always been terrible, but my son started walking at 9 months to try to
oh
catch up with his
wow.
brother. So
Oh wow.
he's always been busy, but it was nice to be able to read with him and play with him and, you know, spend that time with him that normally I would have been in an office. But because I was able to work from home, it was good.
Got you. Got you. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I'm happy that you were able to spend time with your children and that you were able to get to know your teenager better. I'm sorry about your taste, your olfactory senses, because that has got to not to be able to taste macaroni and cheese again and Thanksgiving's coming up.
That's my favorite holiday. Like I cry.
Mm.
I've cried for 2 years straight at Thanksgiving because it's my, and like I said, I'm the only person in my family that really like cooks and loves to cook.
Yeah.
And to have that taken was I still do it, but it's like BB King, the thrill is gone. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. 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 So now you're gonna have to find something else. What will that be?
I well, I found you during the pandemic.
Oh well,
um,
look.
I was
All
looking.
right.
I actually typed into YouTube Black Women Empowerment, and you were the first one to pop up, and it was like okay because, the sisterhood that you create, Tanya, is so needed. I'm trying not to cry. Um,
Oh well, why? Let it out. Let the tears out. Why hold
I
them back?
moved to another area,
Mhm.
and I don't have any friends. Um,
Mhm.
I lost a lot of friends that I went to school with during the pandemic, and it's weird because we're in our 30s, and it's like, what is happening? But we weren't that close anymore. And so I don't have any friends here.
Mhm.
And the text notification squad, like the other day, talking to everybody and you telling us, show your face, get to know each other. And
Mhm.
even though I don't know them on a name-to-name basis, it's good to have a sisterhood with other Black women who get
Mhm.
it,
Yeah.
and not, always talking about down stuff. We laughed together. And I have not done that in years with another
Mm.
Black woman here, except for at work, of
Yeah.
course, but it's not like, um, but other than that, I've always wanted to work in nonprofit, so I started a second job working at a nonprofit,
Nice.
which I never would have done because I didn't have the time. I work 45 minutes from home. By the time I get home, cook, take care of them too, I'm done. But I was able to do that and, pursue that passion. So that's helping. And, like I
Okay.
said, to the squad and kind of having that pseudo sisterhood, it really helped.
Well, that's so wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Tell everybody your name again so they know who to look for in the squad.
Elizabeth, and in the comments on Queen Leo.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth, Queen Leo, we thank you so much for calling in. And we're definitely going to have to do some more activities behind the scenes. We're going to have a networking day. And I'm trying to figure out how to do a Christmas party with a Secret Santa. But with the whole mailing thing, I don't really know how we would do
Yeah,
that. But, you know,
that'll be
unless I
good. I
have,
don't know if
unless
I'll be
I,
able to participate. I'm having surgery early December. Um,
okay.
I probably won't be able to sit up, but I'll try.
You'll be able to sit up by Christmas if you're having surgery in December.
I
Because
hope so. I'm
they're not
I'm
letting you
having
out of the hospital unless you can walk around and pass your bowels.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
That's
you'll be
true. We'll
sitting up
see.
and you'll be able to click your finger onto Amazon to get your Secret Santa present.
Oh yeah, definitely do that.
All right. You are so sweet. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya.
Okay. Bye. All right. So I'm going to take one more phone call. And then I'm thinking maybe if we do the Secret Santa, maybe I have to have everybody mail everything to me and then I disperse the packages. But we would have to do that. But see, we're going to be doing some huge sales around here. So I don't know. How can we do the Secret Santa thing? How do we do that? Unless everybody has like a P.O. box or something. I don't know. We have to figure it out. You're on the air live with Tanya. What is your name? Oh, we lost the call. So we're going to take one more call after that. It's too bad. Gift cards? No. It's to be a physical present. You're on the air live with Tanya. What's your name?
Mimi from Brooklyn.
Hey, Mimi. Welcome in. Welcome. You're our last caller of the day.
Thank you. So I wanted to talk about the stages of grief. It was a video I wrote down notes. So the video is by Jubilee, and it says Jubilee Middle Ground, and then it says, is it time to get over slavery? And it's a poll. It's like a poll where they ask them questions, and then they have to step up to align and then tell their perspectives. And this one was Black liberals versus Black conservatives. And so the question was, should Black people get over slavery? And how I feel like this ties into grief is some of them were saying that the white people were in denial and that's why we can't get over it. And then the Black people are angry. So in my notes, this is what I put. The white people are in denial. So that could be a form of grief. And then the Black people are angry because they're going through the emotions and then they haven't got a chance to accept it.
How does any of this relate to the pandemic and loss?
Well, I came to the conversation late, but I thought we was just talking about grief or loss, period. So I feel like because we lost so many people during that time, during slavery, that is a part of grief. And then I also put down.
I'm sorry. Tell us your name again. I'm so sorry.
Mimi.
Okay, Mimi. So we've just lived through almost 2 years of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the loss that we have experienced during the pandemic. And
okay. Sorry, I came late, so I didn't hear that part.
Well, the title of the video is "We've All Lost So Much Due to This Pandemic." That's the title of the video.
I literally just clicked. I didn't even read it. I just saw that you popped up, and then I literally just clicked it. I didn't even read it. I just saw you and clicked it.
And how did you come across the phone number if you have no idea what we're talking about? Where'd you see the phone number at?
I have your number saved.
So you saw I was on and just started calling and then decided we was talking about slavery?
No, I was talking about grief. I thought we were just talking about stages of grief.
I see. Well, if you heard the stages of grief, you've been here since the beginning of the video.
Well, it started off there and then
you hemming and hawing now.
Oh my goodness! It literally jumped to where we at right now.
Okay.
And then I was writing down notes, so I was just going back and forth. So my fault.
Oh, that was all right.
I have not dealt with grief during the pandemic. I have not lost anyone during the pandemic. I did see about the Travis Scott incident where they lost a lot of people. About 8 people, the other day.
The loss that people have experienced is more than just with people. We've lost our ability to navigate outside without masks. We've lost the ability to travel. We've all lost, even you. We've all lost.
I wrote down that we lost comedians, rappers, actors, athletes, and Black people are dying at a rapid rate.
All right. Well, you know what? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you so much. Oh, no. Thank you. Thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you. Thank you all for, thank you. Thank you all so much for coming out and participating in today's broadcast. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is acknowledging the time that you've been through. Acknowledging and honoring the time that you've been through. So, thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. It's time that I'm gonna all right. Yeah, go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. And part of loving yourself is hey, I don't know. Hey, what's the self-love lesson from all of this here today? What's the self-love lesson, y'all? Hey, self-love lesson is all emotions are good emotions. Just acknowledge your emotions, forgive yourself, put one foot in front of the other. Don't try to rush your process. Experience your process. And I appreciate all of you. If you want to join the text notification squad, the link is in the description. The link is in the description. Yeah. The link is in the description of this video. Just go to tanyatko.com/text and you can join that way. We are going to be having, I need somebody who can help me brainstorm on how to do a Secret Santa. We're doing a Christmas party this year, a virtual Christmas party. And I want us to be able to do like a Secret Santa, but I don't know how to do it. I don't want us to do gift cards because you could just go online and buy your own gift card. I want this to be just like the regular old Secret Santas, you know? Yeah. And, you know, we can all get like a little temporary P.O. box or something like that so that we could keep it, you know, anonymous or whatnot. I don't know. I need somebody to brainstorm with me. All right, listen, I will talk with you all in the next video. I'm done. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you. Big hugs to everybody. I'll hug you all. Hug. Yes. All right, throw those boxing gloves up and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to go back into discussing our viral topics and going from there. All right? So, it's just peace.